Now let's create a reverse foot setup to connect to the inverse kinematics we just created. So we're going to get rid of the ankles that we have in that setup, and we'll bring those back another way. But first we're going to branch off a delete joint node. Let's put that here. Let's wire that from the skeleton up here. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to press the Alt key to create a little dot there to allow us to bring this thing around the other network. Now this delete joints we're going to use to create to get the joints that we're going to use in the reverse foot. So let's get them all from one side, and we'll set that up, and then we'll mirror that across to create the other side. So let's use the left side, enter, delete non-selected, and now we have the joints. Now of course right now they're not reversed, they're going the right way. So we're going to put a parent joint nodes down, and this will allow us to select all the joints, enter, and now they're unparented. Now we're going to put a parent joints node down again, and this time we'll build the reverse direction. So you select, we're going to have three different pairings here. So the first one will be the toe, enter, and we're going to parent that to the heel. Then we're going to take the ball and we're going to parent it to the toe. And then we're going to take the ankle and parent it to the ball. So this is where we're going to get the ankle joint that's going to drive the IK. So first we're going to do a skeleton mirror, and this is going to allow us to get the other side back, and we're just going to say left to right, just so the naming convention is the same. And there we can see that being mirrored across, and we can see that our hierarchy is now the opposite of what it was before. So we can rotate around the heel, the toe, the ball, and ultimately blend that back in to get what we want. So where does it need to be inserted back in? So we're going to go and put down a skeleton blend, which is always how we get these things back in. We're going to put it right after delete joints and right before we do the IK. And so in this case here, so it's the reverse foot, and we're only going to first do world space, make sure it goes to 1, and then we're going to make sure the right pieces come back into this hierarchy. So we make a group selection, and we come out, and we're going to select the two ankles and press accept. So right now this will be set up to blend the ankles back into position. So we're going to do a rig pose, and we're going to do a rig pose for the foot, and we're going to feed that back into that skeleton blend. So given that we have that, we can now see how that's going to affect things. So if we select the rig pose foot and we get the handle tool, we can see all the parts, and we can take that heel, for instance, and we can start to lift that up. So yes, so this is how we get access to pushing that IK chain using this. And we can do that with the toe, rotating the toe, and so on and so forth. So we've got the parts that we need. We're going to clear that, and we're going to, because we're going to do things a couple different ways. We're going to put in a skeleton blend right there, because the actual heels are part of our main control. So we don't want to have them on this rig pose. We want them to be manipulated from above. So we're going to bring those back from where they are. So world space, a weight of 1. And we're going to pick basically the 2 heels. So these will only be the heels. And we need to get that from the controls. So we're going to go from that control to that skeleton blend. And if we press Alt, we can add a little dot in there to sort of push that path off to the side. So if we go back to the rig pose from the earlier controls, yes, we can move those up. Now there's a few other things going on. We won't worry about that right now, but we can also do the CG and push that down. We're also getting the kinematics reacting there as well. So this is a little bit of a circuit. We're pulling things from many different directions to get them to work, but it will solidify once we have all of the parts in place. So now we're going to put in we want these new controls we have to have control geometry. So we're going to bring that down to here, and we're going to again press the Alt key to get a little, push that off to the side. So on this joint here, the places that we actually want, we're going to select these 4. This is what we want handles on. Press G and then scroll, and then go to tweak shapes, and we'll scale them down. So press E, G, then E, and scale them down. Those will be our controls for the ball and for the toe. Because the heel already has a control, and the ankle won't need one because it's just going to do its job. And if we want, we can size those more specifically. Let's say 0.3, 0.3, 0.3. Okay, so we've attached the control joints there, which will be helpful. And if we go to the bone deform here and select that rig pose right there, we'll see that we can select those and work with them. Now what we find here is that the whole foot rotates with the ball, but the toe is not staying straight, so we need a little more control there. So what we're going to do is just before the IK skeleton blend, we're going to put another skeleton blend, which we're going to call skeleton blend toes, and we're going to world space blend the weights of 1, and now we're going to put the rig pose foot into there, and this will, let's go up to the top, select, we only want the ball and the toe, and the ball and the toe, enter. So now that straightens things up. So as we manipulate things with the handle tool, it's now doing its job properly. So again, lots of little blends and interblends and so on, but to get this reverse foot to work, it's giving us the result that we need. Now we're going to clear that rig pose again, because we just got to make sure we only have these 4 joints, because those are the only ones that we need to control from here. The heels are being controlled from somewhere else. Now, just like we've done with anything else, we can say, well, we want this to only, let's say, rotate. We're going to lock everything except rotate Y. And then we're going to do lock everything except rotate Y. And the benefit of this is that when you do this, is that you will only get a handle for that one direction. So locking becomes quite useful because it allows you to really focus the hand. Instead of getting a really complex manipulation handle, you're only getting a manipulation handle for that one parameter or that one direction that we have unlocked. So if we go into here and we click on there, you see there's only one handle now for each of these. and that makes it much easier when you're animating to work with those particular joints. And we'll promote the parameters for all this in the next step. We just want to make sure everything's working first before we promote the pieces. So let's get all of this that we just created there, and let's make that go a little wider. Let's go tab, and we're going to put a box node down, and we're going to add this to our merge packed. So this is going to be for our knee joints. We want to control for the knee joints, and so we're going to make a 0.02 size box, and we're going to alt drag the color over. Probably won't use yellow this time. Maybe we'll use red instead. Feed that into merge packed. So we go red, merge packed, and we'll call this box control. And there we go. So now we can add the same kind of attach that we did before. So we're going to go tab, attach joint geo, put that here. And then we're going to bring the merge packed in just like we did before. So that's going to come into the second input. Set the display on that. And our goal is to do the two knees. So that's really all we're worried about. We're going to select those, go G, and then we're going to go assign, and we're going to go G, and we're going to scroll from the circle down to the box. So that gives us our second choice. We don't need to resize that. But now when we go to this node, which is the knee offset, the boxes will move over with it and we'll have control over them. So that's important to have a quick way of selecting and controlling those while we're working with the rig. And again, all of these things are off to the side and they won't affect the captured geometry. That will be fine on its own. So in the knee offset, we're going to put some specific value, nice clean values in here. That'll be our defaults, but they will help us get started with this. And we'll just copy values, copy parameter, paste values, and there we go. So we've got a clean result there. So now we've sort of wired everything together. We've got the reverse foot working with all the other elements of so it feeds well into the IK solution that we have. And the last thing we'll do is just select this whole section here that we've just worked on and turn that into a network box for organizational purposes. So add the network box there, and then we'll just call this, I'll just go a little bit further, double click, and we'll call this the leg controls. And there we go. That part's finished.